Hello, welcome to Midweek Wardy's Waffle, fresh back from Portugal, and I must say, even though it's sunny today, it's certainly a lot colder than what it's been out there. We've had a great week in Portugal in the Algarve. It was 22, 25 degrees most days. You can see here it's really windy here today. It's Wednesday. I'm doing all this midweek update on today. Just before we get into what we're going at, just wanted to just show you the dogs. I've had a few people say to me that I think these probably are new followers. Could I just explain about the dogs? So here we've got Nala. Now Nala is about a year and a half old, just a bit more than a year and a half old. He's 20 months old probably, Nala. And yeah, German Shepherd. I got her from Wiltshire, German Shepherd breeder from Wiltshire. I've had 3 German Shepherds. Nala's my third. You can just see the red collar she's got on here. I've actually got a GPS tracker on her because she's got on the A17 once a couple of weeks ago, and so I've got a tracker. I've got an app on my phone now, so I've got a tracker, so you can set a safe zone around the farm, which is this. I'll just show you an overlay of that. You can set a safe zone around the farm, and then the tracker, the minute she goes out that zone, I get a message to say she's out of it, and then I can track where she is. But as you can see, a really lovely natured dog. Then so Frankie, little Frankie, is what we call a Tekel. She's a wire-haired Dachshund, and lovely dog. She's not mine, she's Rhonda's, and I didn't want her. It was Rhonda's idea to get her, but I must admit she's certainly grown on me, and she's a lovely little character, and you can just see they get on well together most of the time. So when she's with me around the farm, she loves being out the farm. But yeah, real little character, aren't you, Frankie? There we go. Yeah, real little roughy tufty dog. So that's the 2 dogs, and those of you regular viewers of my videos here on my channel, you can see that she's the 2 dogs are with me all the time when we're around the farm mostly. But yeah, great characters. As you can see here. This update, what we've got, you can see in the background behind me over my left shoulder, we've got the RX going. So this is Tom he's actually doing some grassland on one of our contract farms. So we're going to feature that in this update, and also looking at some of the land we've got to still plant with wheat, and just explain some of this cropping. This needs spraying with glyphosate, so we're going to be looking at that as well. But for now, we'll just nip across and just have a look at Tom and the Solo cultivating this grassland, ready for spring crops. So the discs are cutting in here, they are slabbing it, as you can tell, it is wet. Nala. But it's loosening it underneath. And it's always the same with grassland, it does slab it, but it's doing the job of mixing it up, so it's got plenty of time to weather. You can see we have sprayed it with glyphosate. It's just still a little bit green, but it is going off. It's only sprayed about probably a couple of weeks ago, maybe not even quite that. So it's going quite well. It's wet underneath, but we are having this spring barley. We've had wheat after grassland for a few years, and we just can't get it to yield. So we're having trying spring barley after grass here. The reason why we do the outsides of the fields, the reason when we're doing the outsides we go from the inside towards the outside, is because then when you're turning, if you watch now, Tom will be turning now and it's not running on what he's already done. So at the minute it's just turning on the edge of the field on that green strip there. So what's been done, there aren't any track marks or wheelings or anything in it, so it takes it all out and works the land properly. There you are, see, dropping into the corner, just overlapped onto the grass bit there. So looks like the dogs have found a shrew, a little mouse in the grassland. So this will weather fine, this will. It'll have all the winter on it, coming spring barley, and then our Simba drill in here. We might have to do something with it before the spring, I'm not sure yet. We'll see how much weather we get in the winter, whether we get a lot of frost or not, because that will weather this down or not. Come on, the good girl. There we are. Come on. So just looking in this field, this is one of our continuous wheat fields, and we've started to do that. I'll explain that a bit more when I get out the wind. But you can see this field was done with the Solo a long while ago, 2 months ago, And when you look at the soil, how it weathers, it's wet underneath, so we're not planting any wheat in it at the minute. You can see a nice worm there. Because of the rain that's forecast tonight over the next few days, it'd be better left and then planted, hopefully if we get a window, in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But you can see all this volunteer growing here. This is wheat that's come out the back of the combine. Some of it will be good wheat, some of it will be chippings. There'll be a little bit of black grass dotted about. You can see slug damage there. The stripping of the leaves, sign of slugs there as well. But it walks dry on top. You can see by my boots are dry, but underneath, if we remove that, it's wet under there. But if we get a dry spell, it's not many days since we had a good rain here. We've had 58 millimetres last week. I think it was that, or 52 millimetres, something like that. So this all wants spraying with glyphosate to kill it off, which we'll do in the next few days when the wind drops. There's Frankie trying to catch up, little ears flapping. Nala's already in. So just to explain about these fields I'm just driving past at the minute, this is the field we've just looked at. We're actually, all these are in continuous wheat, and they have been now for about, I think this is 5 or 6 years, and these were our best yielding crops this last year. They're all in a variety called Dorsum, which is a newer feed wheat variety, and they yielded around 10.5 to 11 tonnes per hectare. Seem to do really well having continuous wheat on instead of having a break crop. And the normal procedure, as farmers who watch this will know, is you'll have a break crop in between wheat crops, and sometimes you only have to have first wheats on light land. This field's, all these soils down here are quite heavy. When I say heavy, they mean they're quite high clay content. They're between roughly about 80% silt and clay combined, so in varying levels of the two, and that makes them really difficult to manage in a wet time like we're having at the moment. So the field that you've just seen Tom working with the solo, that's on one of the contract farms literally over our boundary to where our own farm is. And the reason why they've got wheat is they've been in long-term haylage for a number of years, and the land is rented, and so we've got wheat in there, I think because the landlord said they wanted it wheat, so in between, they're not long-term grass, and so we've got wheat every few years in between grass. And we're just starting to go around the farm the second time now, and we've had 3 years doing it grass on different fields, or doing so wheat after grass on different fields, and we cannot get the wheat to yield very well, and it's high cost as well with grass weed control. So for the first time this year, we've just decided to try spring barley after the grass. So that's what we're doing. I'm just going to walk on this field next to me here, just through here. You can see through the window. This is where we had sugar beet lifted about 3 weeks ago. Some of you have seen the videos where we loaded the sugar beet lorries on the edge of the field, and then we've actually, this is one of the fields that Tom drilled last week when I was in Portugal. This headland on the edge of the field here, where we had the sugar beet heaped up and the cleaner loader was loading the lorries. You can just see the wet brown spot there, dark brown, and then just further above that the heap of soil from the sugar beet cleaner that we've actually left and haven't spread, whereas the heap here we spread it, if you remember me do that with the forklift. So pleased with this. That's not really any water stood. Sprayers just marked it there where we did Ruben did the pre-emergent spray a day or two ago, but no wheat out on top here anywhere. Bit of wheat there, you can just see it's chitted. You can see there, got a nice chit on it. Bit cloddy, but it's fine. It's difficult clay soil in this corner of the field. So looking really good. You can just see some of the sugar beet lettered about on top. But generally, field's looking really good. Pleased with how this has gone. And when Tom drilled this, when he planted the wheat here, he had a double width headland across here, so he wasn't turning near the track where the soil's not quite so good. What we need to do something with the drain there. So the thing with this field, that it wasn't planted with sugar beet until May the 5th, and we harvested it 25th of September, something like that, and so it didn't have an awful lot of time in the ground. But I'm going to go through also with you in this update the sugars and show you what the sugar content's been on this field, because that makes interesting viewing and seeing about the yields and things. So we'll go through that again in a few minutes. But pleased with this field. We've actually now got it in with wheat as well, which is great. So we've actually got the sugar beet out the ground, it's all in the factory, and the wheat's in the ground as well, which on difficult soil this time of year is half the battle. Just driven in the yard and there's a lorry pulled in with the plot drill on, and this is for putting Agri's trial plots in the ground. Not a little bit sticky, but not too bad on there, but we won't be able to use it yet. But anyway, I think there's not many of the trial plots left to go in, so it's staying here until ours is fit to go. And you can just see the cassette mechanism and everything at the top there that they put all the trial seed in. So small drill, you can see the double disc units there, seed comes out between there. On the front here there's a little harrow, just does a bit of good just on the front linkage, because obviously the drill's at the back, they can't put it in very rough conditions. And there's all the rows. So it's the time of year again now when I show you some of our sugar beet figures. We've got one field that we harvested last week, if you remember, 42 acres, 43 acres, and we have got it all in the factory. So I've got the figures here from British Sugar, so I'll just show you the detail, because it just makes fascinating viewing when you look at the differences we've got. Just starting on the contract page, it says there, total tonnage we've got, you can just see down there is 4,800 tonnes. That's our total tonnage. All that's on a 1 year contract, you can see there. So I'll just go to the home page. That gives you a bit of an overview. You can see there we've delivered up to now 1,136 tonnes. CTE there stands for contract tonnage entitlement. And we've got a few things here. Crop area 52.5 hectares. So what's that for? About 130 acres. 12 miles from the factory, 43 loads delivered. And that was when the last load was delivered, 3rd of October. Interesting viewing. Just let me scroll down and get that page up a bit more there. Sugar content, we're a bit low, 14.94. We need to be above 16%. I'll explain that in a minute. Factory average is 15.29, so we're a bit below the factory average. This is really good. The soil, we're only 3.2% soil, whereas the factory is 5.8. The more soil you take in, the more you get penalised and have money taken off you. So we need that figure to be low. So just go into deliveries here. We've got all those, you can see at the end there, we had one day we had 23 loads, of the day we had 20 loads. So I'll just open that up there to go into each load. And when you scroll down there, you can see receiving factories Newark. We've got the date, haulage group, went here, serial number of the load. Now, dirty beet, take that top line, 28.66 dirty, that's with the soil and everything in. Take the soil out and it's 27.54. Now that 27.54 should be based on 16% sugar. Because we're below 16% sugar, we actually have some of that tonnage removed. It's taken off us because it's only 14.9, whatever it was, I can't remember now. So they are 14.94. So if that was 16% sugar, the adjusted figure of 25.72 would be the same as the clean figure of 27.54. So the clean and adjusted would be the same if the sugar's 16%. If it's above 16%, your adjusted figure goes up, and it's the adjusted tonnes we get paid on. And if you're below 16%, your adjusted figure goes down. Look at that top line. So you want high sugar, which nobody has got this year. Just to alert, there's a little exclamation mark there. What that means, if I open that up, I think that will say clods. There we go. There's 200 grams of clods in that sample. So that's just an overview of that one load. So all those loads, they're all individual loads, you can see on the screen there. And then if I go on to allocate fields, I've allocated it to a field. So all the loads you can put into one field. I've done that. This is the field. So all together, that field, you can see there I've had 43 loads delivered, and we have done 71 tonnes per hectare of dirty beet, we've done 69 tonnes of clean, but because the sugar is only 14.94 instead of 16% is the cut-off figure, there the adjusted figure then is lower than the clean figure, which it very rarely is for us. We're always above the factory average for sugar, but we're not. So, and sugar is built by sun, and we had a very, very wet, cold, dull July here. So that's just a bit of a snapshot and an overview of the returns and our financial figures. I'll go through those a bit more detail next week, but that just shows the tonnage and the sugar we're getting from our sugar beet. So that's it for another midweek update. Thanks very much for watching. Please come back with any questions about the sugar beet. I'll go through the financial figures with that, as I said a minute ago, maybe next week, and look at those in a bit more detail. I've just spotted the photo here. This one of the quad track, which we no longer have, and then that's the one of the old sprayer, and then the combine, the other shoulder. We've still got that. I'm going to get these photos updated, but these were a present from my nephew. So you watch these videos, Richard, thank you. So you know what to do. Thanks for that. Anyway, thanks for watching these videos, and we'll see you at the regular edition on Sunday morning at 8 a.m.